Today I'm going to do an interview with Tom Brown. Tom and I have been friends for many, many years, and I came across one of his products serendipitously. We were doing some testing with the CHEO, with the heart variability measurement device, which you've seen in some of my films, and I didn't know, but one of the people that I was testing had one of his BioArc discs on the back of his phone. So before we started to do the test, I said, "Do you have any other EMF protection devices?" And he said, "Yeah, well, I have this disc on the back of my phone." So I said, "Okay, well, why don't we test that first?" So we tested just the phone, what it felt like and had done to the body, and then with the BioArc disc. And I was amazingly surprised at this. I didn't think it was going to be doing this much by itself. And then later, we did a test with the CHEO and the BioArc disc, which we'll show you all those tests, and you'll see. I mean, this is like the cream of the crop stuff. So I invited Tom up here to talk a little bit about it and find out how he came up with this idea in the first place and why it's even working. I came up with the concept, and I want to discuss that with you, which we haven't even discussed this yet. But my idea is that the cell phone frequencies are very disruptive. They're very jagged. They have a lot of interrupt in them, and they're pulse digital signals. And when this disc is nearby them, it's based on the golden mean ratio, and it's harmonizing those waveforms, and so our body is not reacting so violently against these waveforms. That's right. My idea. What do you think about it, Tom?
No, that's absolutely true, because this is the mathematics of the body. And being a golden ratio, which is basically a fractal antenna, it's frequency independent. So it's basically, it's not blocking EMF, it's harmonizing the waves in the area.
That's exactly what I thought.
Right. And well, the way I discovered this goes back 30-something years. Research on George Lakhovsky's multi-wave oscillator with the big copper ring antennas with the driven by Tesla coils. He was using it clinically in the 30s and 40s in France for anti-cancer research.
Right, I remember that.
So yeah, I got into it in the 1980s, and I ran to a scientist, and we started working on it together. And he said, "Well, why don't you make, log periodic antennas, golden ratio?" So we did. So we developed the first antennas 1986 along these lines here, which is basically very similar to the original Lakhovsky, only we're incorporating golden ratio mathematics into it. And what we found is when we were doing it, at first we were just printing it on paper just for fun, because we're playing with the pattern to see what's happening with it. And I just thought for fun I'd stick it on a jar of sprouts, because we're very interested in subtle energies, radionics. I was running a research foundation at the time.
Right, that was Borderland
Sciences, right. This is where we did all the research. And what I found is that just this pattern, Xeroxed on a piece of paper, would make sprouts grow faster. So we started making stickers of it just for fun. And they actually got quite popular. People loved them. And what we found is let's say an antenna like this, one actually made out of copper and gold, as these are, had a stronger effect, but just the pattern itself had an effect as well. So naturally you go towards the stronger effect. In the garden I'd use these antennas. You could see plants growing towards them instead of the sun. So there was a lot of very interesting experiments. And we even did with wine. I'd have 2 bottles of the same wine, identical bottles, identical vintage, and we'd put a sticker on one for a half hour, and I'd do a taste test. I'd say, "Tell me which wine you like better." And everybody would pick the wine with the sticker, even though it was identical.
Yeah.
So,
well, now I've seen these popping up on the internet, and I know that you did this open source back in the 80s.
Right.
And you created this pattern, spread it out into the world, and I'm seeing these for sale on the internet. Quite a few of them now.
Absolutely. Yeah, we open sourced it in 1986. We said, well, it's golden ratio energy. Just get out there and do it. I never expected 30-something years later to see all sorts of, I can buy keychains, everything. Yeah. But what I found is there's very little understanding. These people are just copying what we did 35 years ago.
Well, and you've evolved it quite a bit since then.
Extensively, right. I mean,
so tell us about that. What have you done?
Well, we've geometrically perfected the antennas a bit. We've approached it from basically living natural energies, which we've incorporated into various devices and researches. I'm working now with BioArc, a design firm working with a bioarchitect, Juan Schlosser, brilliant man. So we work on this together. And that's what we call this the BioArc disc.
Mm-hmm.
So we've just developed these, started experimenting. We've found through kinesiology they're definitely testing strong. But I also know that a lot of things that test kinesiology-wise, oftentimes it's a suggestion of the tester that's selling the stuff. So how do you do it? And then we really hadn't had a time to get into this, and then you did the test, and I'm literally blown away. I really appreciate.
I was really surprised. And so this is the new design now, which is they're concentric circles, but based on the golden mean ratio.
Right.
Right.
It's similar but different.
Okay.
And we've also made them each ring self-referencing. So there are some subtle changes in it.
What do you mean by self-referencing?
Well, self-referencing, well, originally in Lakhovsky's first experiments, is he would take plants like geraniums and inoculate them with plant cancer. And then he would take a copper wire, let's say 30 centimeters, and he would wrap it around the plant so that the ends overlapped but didn't touch.
Okay.
Right? And he would say that that basically would be oscillating from cosmic radiation, Earth's magnetic and electric fields.
Right.
He did a lot of research on that about cancer over different types of soils, like there's more cancer over clay soils because of the reflection of cosmic rays, less over loamy soils and gravelly soils because it's absorbed. So he was basically working with these subtle natural radiations. So that was the original one, was a single self-referencing ring.
Mm-hmm.
So in these antennas here, the ones that pretty much everybody's doing, the rings are referencing off of each other, which is okay. We know it works. We've worked with it a lot, and so have a lot of other people. But now we've made these, each one's self-referencing in itself. You know, we've worked with a number of different designs.
Right.
So they're self-referencing and referencing off each other, so it's increased the potency of the device. And like I say, we've done some geometrical perfection to the original mathematics that we really open sourced years ago. So it's basically a new wave of research we're opening up on this.
That's awesome. Well, what we're going to be doing for all of our listeners is we're offering one of these for your phone for free. So we'll put the details down in the other part of the referencing material, but you can actually get one of these for free and try it out for yourself. And then from there, it's just, you know, straight up, because this is a really, really powerful little antenna. I was just blown away. I really was.
Well, I always knew that. And a little story, we actually had Russian Psychic Warrior came through where we stay at and work at. And he was testing. They've developed a lot of different devices in their thing, and he tested our device, and he said it was better than some of the ones they've developed themselves. He was blown away.
Wow.
So, I mean, I've always known the power of these things. I know the power of the golden ratio. I know the power of nature when done right. You know, we're making these, we're doing certain specific copper ratios and gold ratios. We're not just slapping them out as everybody's doing. Like I say, you can look on the internet. You know, there's probably a dozen people selling these things, and you know, good on them.
Yeah.
Let's get the stuff out there.
Yeah.
I open sourced it. I'm happy that people took it and ran with it.
Yeah.
But like you said, we've grown a lot. We've learned a lot in 30-something years.
Absolutely.
And got a bit of gray hair in the process.
Well, thank you for listening, and look down below for the information about getting one of your BioArc discs to try out for yourself.